Safe travels everybody, welcome back. This is FranksWay. Today's video we'll be doing a lot of work on the front suspension. I'm going to strip it down, do the fork seals, have a visual inspection of everything that's going on in there, and actually changing the fluids of the cartridge itself and the damper. Once we get that done, we can properly adjust compression and rebound, top and bottom, and then I can start setting it up the way I want it to. Currently I have it 20 mils protruding through the triple treat clamp, but the main objective is getting the shocks out, getting the shock springs out, because I want to compress it completely against the frame and then see what I have to work with. Old wheel 17, new wheel 21 inch wheel. It didn't cause a problem on the other bolt where, well, I made extensions, but I mean that was what, 155 mil suspension versus the 300, 260 or 300. The R I think has the 300, but nonetheless I think let's get it apart. What I am going to be doing is stripping it down, but I'm not going to be showing you a full rebuild, how it works and how do you loosen this. I will actually post a comment on the link below where Partzilla does a very nice tutorial that you can go and look at on their YouTube channel. What do you need to replace and rebuild a CRF450 front suspension? So for me it's more important getting the shocks out and then compressing it against the frame so that I can see what I have to work with, and I want to really start dialing it in. So let's carry on with the video and let's get this sorted. Then I had a question, what's next? What is next will be the main stand, center stand. I need to do that. I'm almost finished with that. And then we'll be moving over to the long range tank that everybody is asking for. Initially I wanted to do the tank in a fiber mold and then something else and blah blah blah. But when I started looking into the casting of the bash plate, I'm actually going to be taking my mold and casting it into aluminium. That makes more sense. So next video will be center stand. The video thereafter we'll start work on the long range tank. There's a lot that goes into that one, and then we'll do the bash plate as well. So then we'll be about done with this one. But let's start the video. And if you do enjoy the content, push the like button, bloop the like button, just get it up there. It helps the algorithm, helps the channel, helps me making more of these videos for you. Let's get started. CRF450 suspension completely stripped down. The objective for this video is not to show you how to rebuild a suspension. I'll leave a link at the bottom. Partzilla does a very comprehensive guide on how you do it. But for me, the objective of this suspension strip down is I want to take out the spring and then have it fully compressed in the frame and see how it all lines up with things like the radiator, the bash plate and the tappet cover. So I want to see where I can have my deepest compression stroke into the frame. While I'm busy with it, I'll be doing fork seals and I'll have a look at the bushings, and definitely will replace the inner dampener fluids. Takes 195 mils and your shock chamber takes 380 mils. Use good oil. I use 10 weight. I know the bike is obviously a bit heavier than the CRF450, so I'm trying to get a bit of a thicker fluid in. Ariete seals, which are in my opinion one of the best. If there are better ones, I'm sure you can buy them. But have a quick look when I tore it down and see the fluid level between the two legs. I wonder if you can see that. The one shock had way less oil in than the other, and it was very dirty. So it's good we do an inspection, get it stripped down. If we want to dial it in properly, we need to do the homework, get it all sorted out. So let's carry on and then see how much travel we can gain into the frame without the springs in, and do our further adjustments and rebuild as needed. Cool. Let's carry on. Right, let's have a quick look. The springs are out of the shocks, and I managed to get it fully compressed up to the point where I can see what my clearances are at the back, because that was the whole aim for this video, is to get that dialed in and do fork seal change and fluids change. The inner chamber as well, the one is got air in, so we'll still work on that shock and drain the air, bleed the air out. But I can now actually see what I'm working with. So if I want to raise the shock a bit more into the triple tree clamp, I can, but I just need to measure what I currently have available here, write it down as a value, and then I can play around with it a bit. I'm going to be building the bash plate around this. I'll keep the front open here for the simple reason it's cooling for the exhaust, and it'll push the air out, the hot air. I will be making an adjustment on the radiator bracket on this side. These are things that I can see now. Even the fender is still quite far away from the beak, but I can start dialing it in, do the rebound and compression, get the clicks in, see where I want it, where my happy space is with the bike. I will be using 10 weight of oil. So let's carry on and get the shocks rebuilt, reinstalled, and start dialing it in. Not aiming for a super high suspension, but I'm aiming for a suspension that I can adjust top and bottom. That's the main objective. Cool, let's carry on. Alright, let's have a quick look at the tool that I'll be using to get the fork seal in. It's the Ariete tool that I showed you earlier. And this is what it looks like. We have our oil seal already in, facing the right side. Our dust covers on the top, and I'll clean up the rest of the top a little bit later. But I want to show you how this works. So now you clip it in, you lift it up your shock, you gently tap it in, and you'll hear it go flush. And that was it. And it's ready now to accept the circlip, and then you can add your dust seal. So guys, please don't use screwdrivers or anything here. As I said on my previous video, what you can do if you do not have access to these tools, take your oil seal, cut it in half, and use that as a driver to get your oil seal in. Okay, so we're now starting to reassemble everything, and the oil in it was really bad. So that is all sorted, and now it's time for final assembly. Cool, once you see it, it will most probably be standing under its own steam. Right, let's carry on. Well, conclusion. CRF450 suspension is in again. And this week I'll be starting to concentrate on compression and rebound. What I'll do is first I'll do the compression until I'm happy with it. Click the settings on the top. Obviously I'll keep in mind that the NC is quite a bigger bike than the CRF450. And then I'll start working on the rebound and get that sorted in, dialed in exactly the way I want it to. I might still bring the shocks a bit up in the triple tree clamp. I might be taking them down. I don't know. It'll take me a week or so just to get my happy place where I want to be with this bike. I'm a bit of an aggressive rider, so mostly I use the rear brake, but when I do use the front brake, I use it. And up to date, I had no issues with anything on there. So yeah, check us out on our next video. That will be things that are outstanding currently is the tank, long range tank, casting of the bash plate, and then I want to do the work on the center stand. This might not be a video that you want to watch, but it's something very important for me in the field. I want to get the bike on a main stand. If I need to take off the rear wheel, it just makes sense. But at some stage we'll be taking this bike and doing quite a bit of long traveling. But watch out for that one. And yeah, looking forward to see you in the next video. Stay safe, travel safe, and we'll catch up again. If you have any ideas or comments that you want to see on this bike, let me know. Obviously I'll be adding a bunch of plating at the back for the bags, and it just never stops. But at 35 average kilometers per liter, this bike just still makes sense, and this actually is my replacement of my Africa Twin XLV 750. But I'll do a video on that a little bit later, and I'll tell you exactly why I did that. Cool. Until later, everybody. Bye bye.